Season is right around the corner, and with the NBA primarily being a numbers game nowadays, I'm going to take a look at the 5 most important numbers for the Knicks for this upcoming basketball season. The first number on my list is $26 million. This is the average annual salary the Knicks gave Jalen Brunson this offseason as they signed him to a 4-year contract while coming from the Dallas Mavericks. Now the Knicks, and by terms of a lot of metrics, struck out on a lot of offseason trades targets. They were going to trade for Donovan Mitchell, but that didn't work out. Same for Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving, and a bunch of other names, and ended up signing Jalen Brunson right as soon as free agency started. Brunson has been a solid point guard for the Dallas Mavericks for these past couple of seasons in the shadow of Luka Doncic and figures to be the starting point guard and pretty much lead the offense for this upcoming season. Most of the Knicks' success depends on him, as the Knicks have had a lot of trouble at the point guard position in the past couple of seasons. They have had some injuries to players, some poor performance from other point guards, and even putting small forwards in other positions as the point guard for the season, none of which has really worked out, so the entirety of their season basically depends on Jalen Brunson translating well. The second most important number for this upcoming season is 40.8. And honestly, the most important player for this upcoming season might be RJ Barrett for the New York Knicks. RJ was drafted 3rd overall a few seasons back, and after his 3rd season, he hasn't truly made the superstar leap that some of his contemporaries have. That being said, he still is on pretty good track when you compare some of his numbers with players such as Paul George and Jimmy Butler in their first couple of seasons in the league. You find that their numbers are fairly similar. Their points per game average up, he has the same amount of points per game in his 3rd season as Jimmy Butler did, and even beating Paul George in that regard. And his player efficiency rating is about average there as well. Where he really needs to pick it up is in the shooting percentage department, which is where he was really inefficient, especially at finishing around the rim, where he was in the lower echelon of the league. That being said, all the tools are there for him to improve, and we could really see a good breakout season for him as he is very due along the way. Number for the Knicks this season is 3.4, and that was the average turnovers per game that Julius Randle had in 2021. Randle signed with the Knicks in 2018 and was a pretty solid player for most of his time there, but he truly blew up in 2020 when he was part of the All-NBA second team, meaning he was one of the 10 best players in the NBA. He put up some career numbers, led the Knicks to the 4th seed in the Eastern Conference, was an All-Star, and overall seemed to be on a superstar trajectory, which the Knicks signed him to a 4-year max contract following that season. However, his 2021 was less than stellar, as he regressed in basically every major category, including points, rebounds, assists, and the aforementioned turnovers per game. His shooting percentages went way down. His 3-point percentage from that 2020 season was the same as his regular field goal percentage in 2021, and he mentally checked out of some games and was overall a burden on the Knicks' 2021 season. Signing Jalen Brunson should help relieve some of the stress that he went under, but overall the Knicks need Randle to return to at least a fraction of that 2020 success if they really want to be successful in 2022. The 4th most important number is 26, which is the amount of games that Derrick Rose played in the 2021 season. Derrick Rose was a revelation of sorts for the Knicks. After being the youngest MVP in league history in Chicago, injuries derailed his career, and he wound up on the Knicks for this season, where he ended up being one of the focal points of that playoff run and was arguably the best player for the Knicks in that first-round matchup versus the Hawks. However, he only played 26 games last season due to injuries and was never really his true self, which was really detrimental to the Knicks because they could have used his play as well as his veteran leadership. The Knicks have a lot of young players, and being able to learn from one of the best to ever do it of this generation, minus the injuries, would have really helped them along the way and should really contribute a lot to this upcoming season. The 5th most important number here is 38.5, which is the over-under win total for the Knicks this season that Vegas currently has set. That number itself is definitely not enough for a playoff berth. The Knicks have the talent to make the playoffs this season. Most have them having currently projected as on the outside looking in, or as a bona fide playoff team or play-in team, but the Knicks do have the talent if they really put it all together, and it really all depends on the numbers and the players and everyone taking a good leap at the same time if they want to return to that success they had in the 2020 season.